Hello, I'm Epic Butter. I've been playing Soul Strike for about a year. I'm currently one of the highest ranked players in Soul Strike, and this video is to help you make the most out of jewels. So jewels are an exclusive item that you insert into your ultimate gear. In my last video, we talked a little bit about jewels. However, in this video, we're going to go a little bit deeper. We'll just talk about it, we'll get started, and here we go. So jewels, for the most part, come from the Shrine of Darkness. You get more keys from your guild store, and every day you can get a total of 5 keys. So that means that depending on your Shrine of Darkness level, you can get a total of 3 of these glorious boxes if you're up here and playing level 60. If you're more like a new player, it's probably going to be smaller boxes like these purple ones. Either way, they just give a certain amount of jewels each time. Now, as you get jewels, you'll get a chance to upgrade them, and they do provide stats in your ultimate gear. We're going to take a look at some ultimate gear, and we can see that this Zircon will give final damage and this Sapphire will give critical damage. And generally, they will give a stat bonus. Now, the main thing to know is as you upgrade them, that bonus will go up. The only thing to really talk about after that is what happens when they become an advanced jewel. So at the advanced jewel level, you can actually input a enchant on them. So by putting an enchant, we mean that these gear lines or these gear that have these abilities, you're able to actually grab one of these and put it on a jewel. So as you can see here, I've actually put a bunch of enchants on a bunch of jewels, and legendary jewels are the first one you get to do that to. So for example, here is a Zircon. This is a Vesper enchant. It increases the number of bats by 100 if I want that ability, but I don't want it on that item, but I want it on this jewel so I could put it on my ultimate jewel. That's how you do it. So this is how you can kind of augment your skill, your allies, and your relics. That's why it's really important to kind of grab good relics as you see them, or good enchants as you see them. So these are all of my weapon enchants, and there's lots of options for me to pick from. And clearly some of these are very bad items. Like for example, this one would never make it. However, it has an aura shrewd 9.1%. I'm going to keep it. That's why you generally will keep mythical weapons with enchants on them, and soon enough you'll figure out which ones you want, which ones you don't want. My recommendation is keep the enchants for the skills that you use, the allies that you use, and the relics that you use. So for me, in a fire build, currently right now I'm using Swiftness, Goddess of War, Icarus, Flame Protection, Sword Tomb, and Phoenix. So those are my skill that I would like enchants for. And then my allies I have enchants for. Jaina, that increases move speed for your character. And Vivette, that gives you 20% more skill damage. Sophia's enchant doesn't really do much for us. She gives burn damage, but really her main power comes from her treasure. The relics that I would recommend is, again, the relics that you use. So these two are collaboration relics, so unfortunately you can't enchant them. However, the ones you can enchant, Wise Lord's Ring, gives additional skill damage per each ally, Ancient Beast Hide, Fighter's Balance Scale, and Windbound Bottle. These are all ones I enchanted. Actually, I don't think I enchanted Windbound Bottle, but I enchanted Fighter's Balance Scale, Wise Lord Ring, and Ancient Beast Hide. Pets, they don't have enchants, thank goodness, because you don't have that much space. You actually have 12 spaces for 12 enchants, and then the item itself, the ultimate gear, will have an enchant on them. So for example, this one's Arcane Orb. I'm not really using this enchant. Really, the reason why I use this item is the high move speed additional, and this is for running Shrine of Darkness. In total, you have 6 plus 12, so you have 18 potential enchants that you have. So this is why planning your gear and strategizing really helps you maximize that potential. After you upgrade and you have enough legendaries, you can actually upgrade them for a chance to get a mythical. Now at mythical grade, the main difference is, of course, there's a stat boost. However, you can also add a synergy. So over here you see some synergies here, like this one is Time Adventure, the Soul Gain up. This one's Hipster, which is more move speed, and this one's Gourmet, which is food effect up. The main one I'm going to talk to you about today, and for new players, really should just be Fancy. Now, the reason why Fancy is so popular and that everyone says do Fancy is because efficacy boost is a very rare stat line. In terms of being able to get efficacy, really you have gear and slate. And slate is something that isn't really there for most players until very mid to late game. And even then, it's not very developed. So slate is not a very good source of efficacy. So really this Fancy becomes your main source of efficacy if you don't have it on a gear line. That being said, you can get efficacy in your training. However, it does end up costing quite a bit later on, and it's limited to this. So I have very high efficacy from my slate. Right now it's 4.6B, and a lot of that will come from Fancy boosting it. So Fancy will be very good for you for your first 6 to 12 synergies. I think that's pretty much my recommendation. If you go beyond that, that's when you can come back out. Maybe I'll make an advanced video later, but really I'm recommending just go full Fancy. Don't think too much about it. If you want to go into the move speed meta, go ahead. But right now, if you're just trying to figure out what to put on, when in doubt, put Fancy on. The main thing to know about ultimate jewels is that it's pain. It is so painful to make an ultimate jewel. And the reason why it's so painful is because this is a 30% chance. And if it breaks, you lose a mythical jewel. Now, that being said, they did recognize how painful it is, and they did start having a pity system. So when you attempt to make an ultimate jewel, your first time they'll give you another mythical jewel. So it kind of feels like a freebie. And after 4 attempts to make a ultimate jewel, you get a free ultimate prism stone. So that's basically pick whatever you want. The main difference to know about these guys is you can put 3 synergies instead of 1 synergy. So you end up getting these crazy combinations of synergies. Everybody has their own, and that's the jewels that you need to know. Basically, for what should I put on are always going to be final damage, crit damage for your weapons, and generally it's going to be HP and defense. So this one's HP and defense. Now you can also add an all element resistance, but this really improves primarily when you have a gear line. So I would primarily focus on defense and HP, and if you can, mix one in if you have that all element resistance line. The biggest way to get more jewels more quickly is to actually win Shrine of Darkness every season. And as you can see here, the winner of Shrine of Darkness will get 10 legendary prism stones and 50 glorious boxes. So 50 glorious boxes, that's what, 3 weeks worth of Shrine of Darkness. So Shrine usually lasts for about 2 months or 45 days. My recommendation, if you can, just go as high as you can for Shrine of Darkness so you can get these beautiful legendary prison stones. That's it. That should be a short, quick, sweet video. There's not much to it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. My editor really likes me to say that. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Have a good night.